Good evening, everybody. Welcome. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the South Haven City Council. It's Monday, November the 15th, 2021. I'd like to call this meeting to order. The invocation this evening will be given by the pastor, Steve Smulligan of Hope Church. Good evening, Pastor Steve, and thank you for being here.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, thank you for the opportunity. A couple of sentences that I'm hoping will frame the prayer. Genesis 1:28, God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it." In particular, the Hebrew word for subdue means, paraphrased, take what I have given you and make of it all that it yet has the potential to become. Take what I've given you and make of it all that it yet has the potential to become. God gave us a world that held untapped potential, and we were given the assignment of discovering, developing, building, shaping, unleashing creation itself. This means that our journey with God is not simply a personal relationship. From the very beginning, God calls us to develop culture, to create civilization. What is done here in this chamber tonight is not secular, meaning separated from God. Your work is the very work assigned by God at the beginning. Take what I've given and shape it into something good for each and for all. Shalom, peace. And yet in the Bible, peace is so much more than the absence of conflict. It is the presence of everything needed for God's children to flourish. Take now what is in your hands and make of it everything it can yet become. This is your calling in this room and according to the responsibilities given to you in this place. Would you pray with me? Father, you entrust much to us. There are times when it feels like too much. We see our failures. In deep down places, we know our weaknesses. And yet you call us to rise up, to live, to serve, to shape something that is from your heart for your people. Is it possible, God, that we can make something on earth that resembles heaven? It is possible. It is. Let these men and women understand what their work is, and that their work is, without question, of you, from you, and for you. Bless what happens in this room this evening through these your servants for all those who are under their care. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you again for getting us started. And next, we have a treat tonight. So we have the Pledge of Allegiance, and we have a flag ceremony, which is going to be, we're going to get some help from Girl Scout Troop 80102. So I will let these young ladies take over.
Stop attention. Color guard advance. Color guard post the colors. Color guard, honor your colors.
That was outstanding. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, moms and dads, for keeping your kids in scouting, too. Yay, scouts. Good stuff. Good night, neighbors. All right, we're good. Thanks again, everybody. Now we have the roll call, please.
Jeff Arnold,
Here.
Chris Campbell,
Here.
Joe Reeser,
Here.
Steve Schlack, George Sleeper,
Here.
Letitia Wilkins, Scott Smith.
Here.
I make a motion to excuse Letitia Wilkins and Steve Schlock.
Second.
A motion and a second to excuse council members Schlack and Letitia Wilkins. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. They are excused. That takes us to the approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. It's approved. Consent agenda, items A through E.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through E.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion on that consent agenda? Seeing none, this is a roll call, please.
Arnold,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Reeser,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes. Takes us to old business. City Council will be asked to consider the following actions related to the proposed health services district rezoning. First, we need to hold a public hearing. So if I get a motion.
I make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Motion and second to open a public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. It is open. All right, Kate, this is the public hearing part of the Health Services District. Who's got this one? Travis, good evening.
Good evening. So this is the continuation of what you introduced last month, which was the proposed rezoning of these properties in the area of the new Bronson Hospital building. This is, again, an item that runs with the vision of the master plan, which designed this healthcare services district to promote the growth of healthcare and sort of healthcare adjacent businesses and industry through this section of town. The Planning Commission, when they considered this item, considered feedback from the public, specifically those individuals that owned single-family parcels that were included in the future land uses vision of this zoning district, and at the request of those individuals, excluded those parcels from their recommendation. That's the recommendation that you're seeing before you this evening. And other than that, unless anybody has any questions, we can go to the public hearing.
And also just a kind of comment that this district will support a wide variety of medical, dental, and health and science industries, but it is very expansive that it does allow for diagnostic and treatment facility, assisted living facilities, skilled nursing homes, health clubs, and also those businesses that facilitate and assist those health and science industries.
Very good. Any questions? Just want to hear public at this time, then we'll discuss it. Hold for now. How's that sound? Public questions or comment on this one? I got nothing. Want to close that public hearing?
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All right, motion second to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. It is closed. Very good. So next, let's go ahead. We will consider the adoption of the proposed rezoning of multiple parcels as identified in the staff report and on the map included in this packet to the Health Services Zoning District.
I'll make a motion to adopt the proposed rezoning of multiple parcels as identified in the staff report and on the map included in this packet to the Health Services Zoning District.
Second.
All right, motion second. Council, any more thoughts, discussions? I'll just say, just so the public's aware, we have one property owner that I think raised some good questions when this first came up, and we met with them. I really appreciate Kate and Griffin kind of taking the time. We actually met in person, kind of their concern being, is this going to kind of change the way I can use my building? And in fact, what's already happening within that building was kind of tilting toward what's happening. They're getting more people asking to rent, I think, a podiatrist and whatnot. So allayed some concerns and kind of explained that even ancillary services that could connect.
That's correct.
Like maybe you've got an accountant that might, there's opportunities within there. So really, it's just a kind of cluster-like uses in the space.
That's correct.
So if
And-
that's-
And of course, that follows the master plan. And more importantly, the setbacks and dimensional parts of the rezoning is conforming to what's currently there.
Okay, so it makes sense. All right, we've got no other questions, concerns. We have a motion and a second to approve the proposed rezoning into the Health Services District. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. It is approved. Next, City Council will be asked to consider the approval of the proposed release of deed restriction for the former hospital site at 955 South Bailey Avenue.
Make a motion to approve the proposed release of deed restriction for the former hospital site at 955 Bailey Street.
Second.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Kate, who's got this one?
I'll go ahead and take this one, sir. So we introduced this item as a discussion topic and want to bring this back for formal action tonight. This is really a release of the deed restriction that was on the property when the city first owned it, but then later sold it to the South Haven Community Hospital, and then has continued on as successors in property interest. We do believe that the current Health Services District that the council just approved really does achieve the same purposes as the deed restriction as originally intended. Bronson does intend to redevelop the property in some fashion. However, they will be using it in medical or medical compatible uses to the district. So this is a release of the restriction because now we have the district.
Okay, sounds good. Are there any public questions about this? Change of deed? Nothing. Council questions? Nothing. I think the hospital's still coming down in the new year, from what last I heard. Still the plan, so.
It is, and as you know, Mayor, we've had many opportunities to contact Bronson about doing some kind of way to convert the existing hospital, but their belief is that the hospital is way too far gone to do any kind of assisted living there, so they're going to be demolishing it soon.
Yeah. Hospitals are a funny thing. Someone described it like an octopus one time. They built part, then they built pieces, and never really too intentional. So let's go ahead. If there's no public comments, no other council comments, we have a motion, a second, to approve that item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. It is approved. Next, City Council will be asked to consider the following actions regarding a commercial rehabilitation abatement application from Beacon Venture Group, LLC. So first, again, we need to hold a public hearing.
Make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All right, motion second to open a public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We are open. All right. Again, this is coming back to us. Who's got this?
Thank you, Council. Appreciate the opportunity. This evening, bringing back before you a proposed project that intends to rehabilitate the property at 708 LaGrange Street for the purpose of transitioning the existing vacant building into usable 2-unit office building. If you'll all recall, Mr. Bobby Mazigian was before you all at the last meeting, spoke in a little bit more detail about this project. He was unable to be here this evening. But before you is a motion to consider a resolution that would approve the application as well as a proposed clawback agreement consistent to those used by the city in other situations that would allow Mr. Mazigian to advance his application to the state for a commercial rehab tax abatement.
Okay, very good. Any council questions on this one? Or it's pretty straight ahead.
Just a tool that we have available to us that I'm glad is getting put to use.
Absolutely. It's not the first one, so, and hopefully we'll see more. So, are there public questions on this one? Is it public comment right now? And again, this is the old Max 10 building, that
That's
point down there,
correct.
and it already looks better. I keep saying that, but it looks better than what it has. So, just think what it'll look like when it's done. So, let's close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion is second to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. It is closed. Next, let's consider a motion to approve Resolution 2021-27, which is a resolution to approve an application for a commercial rehabilitation exemption certificate for a proposed renovation project at 708 LaGrange Street.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2021-27, a resolution to approve an application for a commercial rehab exemption certificate for the proposed renovation project at 708 LaGrange Street.
Second.
Very good. We have a motion. We have a second. Now, where else? We've used one of these for downtown at the Hales Building.
It also included the
335
McDonald's.
Center.
Yep, and it also included the McDonald's building that hails.
McDonald's and Hales, okay.
Hart Insurance, Tom Rummel's building
Right.
was earlier this summer.
Okay.
We also used it at the new Crescent Moon over there on Broadway,
Okay, good.
so we've been using it.
So just so, I mean, I think people are, this is one of those tools, we talk about economic development, but again, it's a way for us to, encourage people to fix up buildings, bring them up, which ultimately helps, everything. It promotes the economy. So, good stuff. So I'm glad to see that happening. I think we're going to talk about more of it later tonight. So we have a motion, we have a second to approve a resolution 2021-27. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. We are approved. New business. City Council will be asked to consider the approval of the following special event applications. First, we have special event 2021-31, Break the Ice 5K 2022, to be held on February the 5th, 2022, from 10 a.m. until 12 p.m., beginning at the corner of Eagle Street and Kalamazoo Street and ending at the Municipal Marina.
I make a motion to approve special event 2021-31, the Break the Ice 5K 2022, to be held on February 5th, 2022, from 10 a.m. to noon, beginning at the center of Eagle and Kalamazoo Street and ending at the Municipal Marina.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second. Who wants to tell us about it?
Well, sir, this is going to be the, I think, the 8th annual Break the Ice Run, and this is a fundraiser for the South Haven Public Schools cross-country team. So this is an established event. They are using the same route as in previous years, and it seems to be a well-run event, and they do have some requests to use facilities at the Municipal Marina, but we've always been able to accommodate those, so.
Very good.
It seems like there's a kids event, the Frosty Dash, for little kids.
I think
That's
so.
always a fun, yeah.
Yeah. We love events in the winter, so that's good. No competition for streets or parking or anything, so. All right, so we've got the motion, we've got the second, we've got explanation. Any public questions or comment? Anybody out there? Get your running shoes ready. I'll expect to see everybody out there. No public comments, council comments? Nothing. Joe, you gonna do it?
What?
Are you gonna do it?
Run the race.
Think about it. Think about it. All right, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. It is approved. Next, we have the special event 2021-34, which is the a Hayride 2021, to be held on December the 11th, 2021, from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. During the American Legion's free community children's Christmas party.
I'll make a motion for a special event 2021-34 Hayride 2021 to be held on December 11th, 2021 from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. during the American Legion's free community children's Christmas party.
Second?
All right, we have a motion. We have a second. Who wants to share? It's a hayride.
It's a hayride. So this, my understanding, is the first free community children's Christmas party, December 11th. They will be running from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., but I believe hayrides will start at 11 a.m. And this is a new request. They're only looking at the 2 to 4 blocks around the American Legion, going down to the lakeshore and then coming back up. It will be pulled by a decorated tractor while they sing Christmas carols. It will be for parents and children, and they are not requesting any city services, and they are going to be having people sign a waiver of liability. So this is a first year for this event, and we'd like to see how they can do this. It seems like a great event that they're putting on.
Yeah, sounds like fun. Very cool. Are there any public questions on this one? None. Council questions? Hayride. Sounds good. All right, motion and a second to approve special event 2021-34. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. It's approved. Next, City Council will be asked to consider the approval of the Local Officers Compensation Committee recommendation for the following compensation increases. So, mayor, annual salary of $1,530 per meeting for every regularly scheduled council meeting attended. Council members, annual salary of $1,000 and $30 per meeting for every regularly scheduled council meeting attended. If approved, the city would increase the annual payroll budget for the mayor and council members combined from $10,200 to $12,540.
I'd like to make a motion to thank the commission, but would like to respectfully decline the increase.
Very good. May I speak? Not yet. Ma'am. Anybody, any seconds for that motion? Nothing yet, all right. So we'll hold on that one. Anybody?
Are you waiting for a second to Chris's?
If somebody wants to, either that or we'll wait for another motion, so.
I'll second what Chris said.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. So now, Kim, do you have the, do you want to, I don't know if Kim was taking over or,
We can have him come on up, but the Law Officers Compensation Commission meets every an odd numbered years, and I'll just let Kim come over and take over since she's walked all the way up here.
So I would just like to thank the LOCC committee, who has met multiple times this year and worked very diligently to come up with this request. They dug through a lot of data. So I would just like to personally thank our folks that are on the committee. We have our chairperson, Rosalie Placati. We have our vice chair, Daryl Williams. We also have William Atkins, Dana Hollinger, and Robert Sherman. So I would just like to thank them for their work on this, and I'd invite Rosalie to come up and talk about the process that we went through.
absolutely. And I will thank all of them as well, because they're all fantastic people.
Yeah. You preempted me. Man, that was a preemptive vote. Nice job.
Seasoned.
Yeah, no kidding. I didn't see that coming. I thought maybe I'd have a little bit of an argument here. But as Kim said, these guys, I really do have to recognize the committee because they really dug in. And as you know, this meets usually on the even year. We were off. So we're going to come back next year. You're going to see us again. And you won't be here, so we won't let you preempt the vote unless somebody takes your place. And the mayor can't make the motion, so we have hope. But we did have rationale for this, and we do want you to think about this. We get it that you guys are here very altruistically. I probably said that wrong. We know that you're here to serve your community, but we do want you to think for the future. We do want you to think that compensation is not a bad word. We do want you to think that nothing has been raised since 2008, and that the annual growth rate of inflation has actually grown 27%. Okay, and we're talking the future. That your duties and meetings, one of the hardest things we had to do, and that's where these guys really dug in. These guys are really smart, a lot smarter than me, is that it was hard to compare South Haven to any other community. We're a community of 4,000, but you quadruple. And so your duties are like a city of 15 to 20,000, 4 to 5 months a year. So we could not even find a comparable city. We couldn't take your salaries and compare them to somebody else. We could take your salaries to a 4,000 community, but that didn't make sense. So your duties are crazy, so we couldn't compare them. The other thing is you constantly have changing demographics, changing tax bases, changing all kinds of things. Plus you had the pandemic and the water things. So these guys worked really hard. So I can't believe you preempted that, man. I didn't see that coming. But we're going to come back next year, and we do want you to think about this, and we do want you to think of the future, because there are going to be council members that will have to get babysitters, that will have to think about costs outside of what you do in these seats. And so thank you for the time. You do a great job, and we do believe that we should have increased your compensation. So I know how this vote's going to go, but thank you for your time. Any questions?
No, I would seriously thank all of you.
Yes,
these
guys worked hard.
You're all outstanding people, and
Well, good. We meant what we
love
said.
dearly. Your opinions are valued dearly, and
Good.
you were given
Good.
a tough task.
Well, yeah, we kind of knew where this was going to go. Joe, did you have a question?
No, just a comment. I don't want the pay increase, but I'll tell you what I would love to get once in a while, one of these Good
You
job.
too. Okay, here, everybody. Good job, everybody.
That's all we want. That's awesome. There you
All
go. I
right,
would agree with
all
Joe.
right.
I'll second that. That sounds good. Thank
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. We all have a chance to make a comment. Any other public,
Well, I would-
public questions?
One comment I would
Oh,
make.
Public,
Also,
uh-oh, public's coming.
okay, sorry.
Gotta get the public up here.
Yep.
David Veenstra, 1220 Monroe Boulevard. And I appreciate the fact that many members of the council may be willing to not take a pay increase. I think you should look at continuing to attract good candidates to this position. And there's a balance. So you don't want to pay so much that people just run, for the money, but you also don't want to pay so little so that the only people who are interested are people who have special interests that they want to promote. And I think this is a good balance, this request. I think it's very reasonable. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess I have a comment also.
Yep.
Once the public
Sure,
is done. Yeah.
absolutely. Mr. Sherman, come on up.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Bob Sherman, 250 North Shore Drive in South Haven. I just want to mention that Kim was enormously helpful to the committee, and the committee's recommendation is not lightly based. Kim was able to provide lots of research from, is it the League of Municipal Cities in Michigan? Anyway, we're trying to compare South Haven to other cities of comparable populations or comparable budgets. It was a difficult task. Kim was enormously helpful. So the recommendation has a lot of, I'll say, foundation to it and is well worth your consideration.
Thank you. George.
So initially, I was inclined to agree with my fellow council members that we really didn't need additional compensation. But then I read the rationale for the recommendation, and I do think that the committee has put together a good argument. So actually, I will probably vote no for the motion, just because I think, that this particular compromise, which is what I'm going to call it, strikes a good balance, and I think it's time to gradually start to bring the compensation up. Not that I necessarily think we have bad people running for city council. I think it just sends the right message that the time that council members put in is valued. And that was my thought, especially after reading the rationale for the recommendation.
Very good. Thank you. Any other public or council comments?
Oh.
Of course. Why not?
Danielle Veenstra, 1220 Monroe Boulevard. Two thoughts. Imagine you had been in this position since 2008, or in any position, and your compensation had not increased. You would feel belittled, unseen, devalued. So I know that none of you have been in this position for all of those years, but the position has been here, and we have to value the position. Now, I've forgotten my second point. Oh, wait, I got 4 minutes to think about it.
Kick back, relax.
Oh, Lordy. And that was the better one. Dang it. Seriously, it's gone. You probably heard it fall off the tracks. Oh, I know what it was. I have been to many of these meetings. You guys see me sitting back there, and we don't get up and leave because we value the fact that you are willing often to sit here for 2 or 3 hours hearing people's comments, positive and negative, but that's not the only work that you do. We read, and David reads the packet fully at home. We know how long that takes. Your time is valuable, not just this hour here, but all of the hours. The time that you're pounding the pavement and talking to people is time that you ought to be compensated for. So I would strongly encourage each and every one of you to consider the message you are sending as to how you see your position if you turn down this increase.
Thank you. Was there anybody? Did you comment yet?
No.
You were good? You know,
Did I did have a comment. I want to thank the committee for their time. And this will be the second time that I've been able to vote no on a raise for myself, because the first time I served, this came before us, and we declined it as well. The mayor and I did have a discussion about this, and one thing I don't know if you guys would be willing to do it again, but next year when it comes, if you could structure it so that the seated people could vote in favor of it, but it won't affect them. It would take effect when the next people in the next term. So we would be setting up the next people and not giving ourselves a raise. If we could figure out how to structure it that way, that would be my suggestion moving forward. If we could, that way we're not giving ourselves a raise. It's for the next people with all the things that you guys just said made perfect sense. And so maybe that's something we can do.
well stated. Mr.
And
Campbell.
to be honest, I, along with, I think I was talking to Scott, but I didn't even know we got paid until after I was elected. So, I think a lot of this, we do it because we want to improve our town. The money's nice, but really, I prefer it to go back into the community for me. So that's just, but I love honestly, it's awesome that you guys put this together. I get to be the one leaving, so I get to throw this out there, so.
And see, I get to, having been elected as mayor, and then we had a high water crisis, we had a pandemic, and I was looking forward to my chance to decline a pay raise for several years. And so I had mentioned to Kim and Kate, I said, aren't we supposed to review our salaries at some point in time? Because, it is, this group right now is combined, all of us are paid $10,200 a year, which I can't tell you the number of times I've had people wonder if I'm just in council chambers all day long, and I tell them, I've got a day job. But this is, we all up here because, many of us have day jobs and other things, but we're here because we love dearly this community. We have fantastic people like this committee that put this information together. I, too, actually, the very first time I was on council back a few years ago, when I got my first check, I thought it was a refund for my utilities, and then I read the bottom and I realized we were paid. I was like, oh, I got paid. So now I know we are paid a little something, but I'll just say it's for the love of this community and wanting to make things better. And as Joe said, quite frankly, I do just as good with the occasional thumbs up, the pat on the back. That goes way further than a dime any day. So on that note, if there's no other questions or comment, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Oh, I think we passed it. Very good. And again, to the committee, these are all amazing people, fantastic, each and every one of them. So thank you for your time. And rumor has it we'll see you again. So, thank you. Next year. Okay. All right. Let's go on to next. Item 12. This is a fun one. I'm sorry. City Council will be asked to consider the adoption of resolution number 2021-28, which is a resolution for diversity, equity, and inclusion. So, I don't know if you want me to just...
Well, I'd make a motion to
There you go.
adopt the
Perfect.
resolution 2021-28, a resolution of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
A second.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. How about if we read it, too? Let's read it, and then maybe, Kate, I guess I give the 2-second background, but which is we do have an identified city council priority in which leadership is going to seek to improve and enhance diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts within the city. So, including an equity assessment and a couple of other things. So this is just one step. So let's read it. I think Joe, you willing to start? I think we got Joe, headed to
My
George, headed to
pleasure.
Chris.
Whereas we are grateful for and affirm the city of South Haven's diversity, we recognize that in order for our city to thrive, we must continue to attract and welcome a wide range of diverse people and talent to our community. And
Whereas we recognize that people of all backgrounds contribute to our city's governance, culture, and economy.
Now, therefore, be it resolved to advance City Council's identified priority of enhancing diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts within the city of South Haven affirms that South Haven is a welcoming city for all and that our city respects our diverse community.
Be it further resolved that the City of South Haven will not support attacks on, discrimination of, harassment of, or intimidation of individuals that are based on race, color, ethnicity, gender, age, religion, immigration or refugee status, sexual orientation or identity, specific physical or mental needs, familial status, economic status, or other social identity.
Be it therefore resolved, the City of South Haven will, as much as in its power, support and advance the basic principles of our United States Constitution and corresponding Bill of Rights, which affirms the inherent value, equality, and dignity of all persons. Finally, be it resolved that the resolution is one step in a much larger response towards sustaining a welcoming community and is not intended to infringe on individual constitutional rights or federal immigration law.
Okay, very good. Thank you, everybody. And I will say, the City of Manistee had created something similar. We were on the phone with them just to kind of hear, a little bit about their process. But as I read what we've got here, it kind of what's before us, I mean, I believe this is a reflection of, one, my personal beliefs, too. I think it's a reflection of this council's beliefs, staff's beliefs. And I think it's a reflection of our community as a whole. I think this is a pretty solid statement. So on that note, public questions, comments. I'll start with that, and then we'll have council question comments, and we'll, Miss Rosalie, come on back up. Welcome back.
Yeah, let's see, I did Girl Scouts, got voted down on raises, but this is something I think we can all agree on, I hope. I think this is a good first step in a declaration of who we are, and I think it's also extremely, I mean, it's relevant to taking a look at your vision statement that you're going to be working on. I saw your mission statement, and as you work on your mission, vision, and values, I think it's a good bedrock. I know that we've worked on this before, and that may come up, and I think we can take a look at that as we use this as a kind of a resolution that we can all be proud of. So I'm glad you did it. Thank you. And I look forward to your vote.
Thanks, Rosalie. And hopefully, yes, the other will come back. So I would agree.
Danielle Veenstra, 1220 Monroe Boulevard, and as a person who worked with other folks in the past, hoping to get some kind of specifically LGBTQIA resolution or ordinance adopted, as Rosalie said, this is bedrock. I think this is a great first step. It's foundational for us to move forward beyond the simple language and maybe truly live into this. So I applaud you.
Thank you.
My thumbs are going to get tired
Oh.
of these meetings.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Council questions, comments? Boom, boom. If not, all right. Well done, everybody. Thanks for helping read it. So, motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-28, which is the resolution for diversity, equity, and inclusion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. It is approved. And thanks, everybody, for your comments. All right, we're almost there. City Council will be asked to consider a series of actions related to a proposed conditional land use transfer, Public Act 425 agreement with South Haven Charter Township. First, we need to hold a public hearing again.
I make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Motion second to hold a public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. It is open. Who's got this?
Thank you. Again, very excited to bring this before you this evening. For many years, staff has been working with South Haven Charter Township to figure out a strategy to help promote the revitalization of the M140 corridor from Aylworth all the way down to Blue Star Highway. What is before you this evening is a 425 conditional land use transfer agreement, which would temporarily bring a district, as outlined in your packet, into the purview of the city of South Haven for 10 years. This would allow the city to serve as a single point of contact for building, planning and zoning, infrastructure approvals, as well as tax incentives and code enforcement activities. So the way I've been liking to describe it to people is if the city moves forward with this, it would allow the city of South Haven to use its carrots and its sticks to help to promote the revitalization of this district. With that, the Charter Township did approve this agreement last week. It is brought before you all this evening to gather feedback during a public hearing and then to consider. And should City Council move forward with this agreement, there are several other actions that will be brought before you later in this meeting that staff can describe what other tools we have to help promote the revitalization of this area. I'm happy to answer any questions.
How about before we jump into public comments, just explain a little bit more just for people tuning in, like what this really means. I mean, we're talking about where we're talking about, how long we're talking about. I mean, just quickly. Sorry.
Sure. So a 425 agreement authorizes local units of government via Public Act 425 to temporarily transfer property from one unit of government to another for a specific purpose. In this case, it would be for the purpose of economic development. That would create a single point of contact for many building, zoning, development, economic development, and incentive services to hopefully make it easier for folks to want to reinvest, build, and invest in that area. In practice, for 10 years, what that means is the properties in the proposed district would come under the purview of the city of South Haven. They would follow the city's zoning. They would pay their taxes here at the city of South Haven. They would come to the city of South Haven for municipal services. And in exchange for that, the city would pay the township a small tax sharing amount where additional tax revenue generated from that district would come to the city to offset the costs of the additional services we would be providing there.
And some of the services that the city can offer are code enforcement, cleaning up that area that so far the South Haven Township hasn't been able to or hasn't had strong enough laws to do so. And that is one of our corridors, one of our main entryways into the city that has been an area that has been identified in the last years or two with my predecessor as a way to dress up an entry point into the city. We have a couple, and each one have their own challenges. This particular one, we've been working on a deal with South Haven Township to bring this in, apply code enforcement, apply any kind of brownfield or a commercial rehab if the council is so desirous, and just give incentives to improve those properties there. Now, if you look at the map, not every parcel would be coming into the district. Some parcels would not be able to take advantage of some of the tools the city has. So by burdening them with an increased tax bill wouldn't be appropriate, so they have been opted out of the district. So we've been working with the township on this for some time, and I believe that they had a very good public hearing about this.
And if I may, there is a history of using tools like this, not only statewide, but also here in South Haven. I think all of you will remember when Meyer came into town to try to make that project as smooth as possible for the community. There was a 425 agreement so the city could serve as a single point of contact for those construction and economic development processes. In a way, this would be quite similar for a period of 10 years. The city would take this property under its purview, and after 10 years, it would revert back to South Haven Township.
Any changes in tax structure at the end of the 10 years for city purposes?
Can you ask that again?
City would have no economic benefit at the end of that 10-year period.
It would not have any direct benefit, as if we don't get any more tax dollars after those properties revert back, but many of them will continue to be utility customers.
Right, utilities, as well as then it's improved, the corridors improve, so ultimately improving that.
Correct.
That current deal coming into the
Yeah,
city.
we're looking at this largely as an economic development tool, as by cleaning up a corridor like that, it makes your community overall more attractive. I'll also note there are already a number of shared services between the city and the township, so there will be some minor changes for those in the proposed district, and city staff have been sending information out for several months and had conversations with several of those in the district. But many of the services are already shared between those two units, so we don't expect a major impact on any of them.
Change. Okay. Sounds good. Well, this is a public hearing, so any folks from the public have questions on this one? It's kind of. Oh, you got to come up. Oh, no, come on up.
The public needs to hear you.
Oh, yeah. You got to state your name, your address. you
Ron,
know.
and I live on 600 in Virginia.
And last name.
But is this only for the M140? Because there's not that many businesses right there.
Correct. So the proposed district is just from Aylworth down to Blue Star Highway. So just the area in dark
So it
purple
stops
there.
Right before.
Correct. Just this dark purple is the property proposed. You're correct. It's not a very large district,
Okay, that's how I
but
wanna know.
it's a main entry point into the South Haven community.
Okay,
Well,
thank you.
share your last name, too.
Oh, Wall.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it. And good job for the Girl Scouts again. He's hanging out to take back the flag, so he's hanging out with us tonight. Anybody else from the public have questions? Nothing. How about, let's close the public hearing.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second?
Motion second to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. It is closed. So next, council will be asked to consider the approval of Resolution 2021-29, which is a resolution to approve the proposed conditional land use transfer, PA 425 agreement.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2021-29, a resolution to approve the proposed conditional land use transfer, Public Act 425 agreement.
Second.
All right, we have a motion second. Council, any thoughts, questions?
So I think Kate kind of answered this question. So there's obviously not all parcels in this corridor are selected, and I'm guessing it's probably up to the township basically to decide which ones, and probably with input from the owners of the property.
That's correct. The township identified certain parcels they felt, in knowing the owners, that this would not be well, either wanted or needed. In addition, we've also worked with a couple other properties, such as like the senior services, to see if any of the tools that we had to bear would benefit them. And unfortunately, the tools that we would be applying for, they really wouldn't qualify for. So we opted to work with them and take them out of the district so they were not burdened with a higher tax bill.
Mm-hmm.
The ASO fields, I noticed also are in here.
It's correct, but it's still school property.
Okay.
Any thoughts? Nope. Good. Yeah, my only, I'm glad we can get this area cleaned up. I would just say, let's make sure that our house is in order, the space leading up to there, as I mentioned the property earlier, I just think let's make sure that everything within the city proper that's currently here, let's make sure that is cleaned up, as we are seeing some improvements, but I think we have some properties which we could continue to improve on the city side as well along this corridor. I'd like to, let's make sure the whole area looks good when we're done. So on that note, we have a motion, we have a second to approve Resolution 2021-29. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. It's approved. And related, City Council may ask to initiate the creation of a new commercial rehab district along the M140 corridor south of the existing district to Blue Star Highway.
I make a motion to initiate the creation of a new commercial rehab district along the M140 corridor south of the existing Blue Star Highway.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. So I think we just, like we just said, so we're looking at creating a commercial rehab district for this district we just created. Ta-da.
Yeah, I didn't want to steal too much of the thunder of this one in the previous item, but yes, now that council has approved the 425 agreement, we're looking to initiate the process of establishing a new commercial rehab district. As you'll all remember, in 2018, City Council established a commercial rehab district that encompassed much of the downtown area as well as the Broadway corridor, kind of ending right at that Max 10 property, which you all acted on earlier this year. This proposed district would pick up where that one ended and carry all the way down the rest of the Broadway and LaGrange corridor, ending at this district and Blue Star Highway. So it would give the properties within that district, should it be created, the opportunity to apply for a commercial rehab tax abatement, which is another one of those tools that staff's been mentioning to help incentivize the redevelopment of that corridor or the reinvestment in that corridor. There are several properties in that area that I think the mayor was starting to hint at are quite excited and definitely have some potential for reinvestment both in the new 425 district and in the city proper. So this would be a step for City Council to initiate that process, provide any feedback on whether or not they support creating this district, and if they do, the physical limits of that district. And if there is support for the district, it would be brought back before City Council at a future time to vote on the actual creation, similar to the process of creating the first district.
Sounds good. Appreciate that. Public questions on this one? Nothing. Council questions on this one?
Well, as we learned with the other commercial rehab district, once we set the boundaries, we can't change them, correct? So have we gone through the boundaries with pretty much detail to make sure that there's not going to be somebody like right on the border of the boundary that's going to say, hey, wait, I wanted to take advantage of this? And
Within the proposed boundary, we've included all of the properties that we are aware of that would be eligible for this abatement. But that is also part of the reason why we bring it before all of you. We're not perfect like anyone else, and we definitely appreciate any feedback City Council can provide about any properties that there's interest in exploring more. But as I said earlier, the north side of this proposed district, the existing district comes up to that point. This includes the rest of that LaGrange Street corridor, as well as the newly acquired 425 district area. And you are also correct. Once a district is created, City Council has the opportunity to create an additional district, but there is not a process in the statute to amend an existing district.
Well, we can hope that through this process, that if there's something out there we missed, those people will come to us.
Correct.
That
And
by
that's
putting this out there, they'll hear about it and they'll.
correct. And that's my understanding, where technically to create a district only requires bringing it before council at one meeting. The practice has been staff has brought the creation of these districts before council at least 2 meetings to give plenty of time for the public and council to review the proposed district, to provide any input, as you mentioned, to contact us at meetings or in between meetings before the actual formal action would be considered.
That's correct. We
So
want to
this-
give people lots of notice so that if there's something we're missing,
Plenty of time.
please come to us.
Okay, so we have the motion and a second to initiate, right? You've got that? Did we get a motion? We got the motion. Good. We got the motion, we got the second. All right, and we had public?
One more question.
Oh, question, go. Sorry.
And we checked with Family Dollar and also the Bob Burrs building. He's right at the top of Elm Place, by Elm Place.
I believe that they're already in the first district
Okay,
created.
that's what okay.
Yeah, I think
Cool.
they're already in.
Correct. Anything north along this this corridor of this proposed district is going to be in the already established district.
Perfect, okay.
Okay.
So that's like the max 10 that we talked about earlier today, or even I believe the state police outpost is
Would
included
be
in
in
the
that.
previous
That's correct.
district and all the way up towards town.
Yep, should be, so, okay. Anybody else? Good questions. We got a motion, we have a second to initiate that creation of the new commercial rehab district. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. It is approved. All right, City Council will be asked to consider a proposal outline from Greg Guidance LLC to advance fiscal year priority number 7, which is the development of a community vision statement. And if it aligns with our intended goal, make a motion to proceed with Section A, which is the vision, values, and differentiation. So just need a motion to proceed.
Just clicked away, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to ask to consider a proposal outline for Grade Guidance LLC to advance fiscal year priority number 7, development of community vision statement, and should it align with City Council's intent for this goal, make a motion to proceed with Section A.
Second.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second. Who wants it? Kate.
Well, we're going to go, both Griffin and myself here. We've met with Greg Greshow, who had put this proposal together, and Greg gave us Section A and Section B to seeing how in-depth council would like to go with the vision statement as part of the priority. Griffin, you want to give a little more detail about what we're looking at here?
Sure. So regularly, city staff and Kate and I specifically will take a look at council's adopted fiscal year goals and make sure that we're moving those forward appropriately. And one of the goals we've been spending quite a bit of time on over the last 4 to 6 weeks was trying to chart a path forward for fiscal year priority number 7, which was specifically to develop a community vision statement. So we consulted with a number of our colleagues who have done similar type of work and the Michigan Municipal League, and eventually landed on Greg. Greg is a retired city manager. He was a city manager across the state of Michigan for over 30 years. He uniquely also has a PhD in organizational leadership, and he likes to say his second career is he is working in more consulting to help local governments with these types of projects. So unlike a lot of consultants who may have a cookie cutter type approach to some of this work, Kate and I were really pleased when we reached out to Greg when he mentioned he would come into City Hall at no cost to the city and wanted to hear from us on what council was looking for and try to translate for all of you on what your intent was with this goal. And with that, he put together this proposal specifically for the city of South Haven to try to advance your fiscal year priority number 7. With that, we also want to recognize that it's City Council's goal. So part of this evening is we want to make sure that this is consistent with all of your intent for advancing that goal. It's specifically recommended to look at Section A, which would be to address an organizational vision, values, and differentiation statements. And it also proposed a Section B, which could be additional work down the road if you all are pleased with this first step and find value in it and want to look at ways to move that on more in the future. But specifically Section A, there are some tasks outlined in the proposal that include a number of things such as interviews with specific council members, detailed reviews of existing plans such as the economic development strategic plan, the parks plan, and the master plan to look for and dig in and find a lot of those vision and value statements that may include in there to be able to congregate them in one place and start to speak for the organization. So with that, we're happy to answer any other questions, but it's our understanding that this is a path forward to advance this goal, but we're really interested in hearing all of your feedback and are happy to do what we can to try to help.
Sounds good. Griffin, I think your last sentence there summed it up. It's trying to congregate what is a lot of bits and pieces and trying to kind of come up with kind of a common vision and alignment and ultimately translate that into the community. I think a lot of us think that, but I know I've never been involved in anything like this before, and
Absolutely, and I think that's what stood out to me in the proposal is the proposed Section A is really focused on the organization. So the city of South Haven as an organization and what is its visions, values, and differentiation statements. Once we've clarified that, there is then the opportunity for City Council to go, do we want to move on to Section B, which could take a broader look and see how our organizational visions vision and values relates to some of the other visions and values of other organizations in the community, such as the school districts, major nonprofits, and so on and so forth. That is a much more engaged and time-intensive and costly process. There may be value there. That's a decision that council can decide down the road. But the recommendation is to consider Section A first, is kind of get our house in order, and then you all can decide if you'd like to move on with additional work related to that.
Okay, sounds good. Want to start with council questions, comments, and then we can, Mr. Reeser.
Now, I may be off on this, but how I view a mission statement is more about who we are as a community. It goes to the heart of the community, the people, what we stand for. And I thought our proclamation, our statement earlier, the resolution, I should call it, really struck at the heart of the community, what the people are about and how we look at each other and how we treat each other. And that's diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I just look at the vision statement as a bit broader, but it still should be guided by, most importantly, values and principles. Our budget and all of that is secondary to the community and what we stand for. And when we talk about, so often, master plan seems to come up in discussions, whether we're talking about Overton, short-term rentals, people refer back to the master plan. And Kate has reminded me, we don't have to do what's in the master plan. It's a guide. I look at the vision statement as a guide to the city and how it operates and how, most importantly, the city works with the community and how we treat each other. So I just hope we don't take this mission statement, this vision, and make it like an economic plan and make it more about the well-being of the community and how, and I'm kind of repeating myself, how we're treating each other as a community and what do we stand for as a community, most importantly. So I just hope we use that as our guide with this. Does that make sense, Griffin, what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I think if I can draw council's attention, there's actually a really nice graphic on, it's page 155 of the packet, or page 2 of the proposal, depending on what you're looking at. But Councilman Reeser, I think this really draws in a way to very closely to what you were talking about, which is, yes, your vision is your destination. Your values is what guides you. Your differentiation is what path do you take to get to your vision and to get to your mission and to get to your values. I think a lot of these are not intended to recreate strategic plans and some of these other things we've talked about. If anything, it's to try to pull from some of the work we've already done and reframe it and take it further to start to get to these items that I know Kate and I have heard council talk about wanting. We want to know our vision. We want to know our values. We need to define these clearer so we can use them to help justify some of the work we do. I think working with someone like Greg, who has a lot of experience not only in local government but in some of this work could be really interesting and helpful for us in getting there. But at the end of the day, we'd like to hear from all of you and just see if this is starting to hit at the intent of what you all were thinking of when identifying this as one of your priorities for this fiscal year.
Additionally, I should say that this Section A can be completed within 45 days. It does go into the analysis of our existing plans, so we're not trying to recreate that work. We're also trying to build upon what is common with all those plans that we heard from multiple meetings and multiple stakeholders in the master plan, the economic development, or the strategic plan, as well as interviews with each and every one of the council members. So that's the building blocks of what we're looking at here today with Section A.
Sounds good. Any other, George, questions?
No, I think the Section A is a good start in developing a vision, and I think this hits the mark from at least what I kind of envisioned anyway.
Mr. Campbell, Mr. Arnold, all good?
All good.
All good. I will say, I'm just going through that proposal, I thought it was well done. Clearly, this gentleman's got a lot of experience, and this is in his wheelhouse, so I'm very comfortable. I think this will get us going in the right direction, so I'm very comfortable with the proposal. Are there any public questions before we jump too much further? Everyone likes it. We're smiling. Good. Okay. Well, if we're good, I'm good. So we have a proposal to proceed with Greg guidance to address fiscal year priority number 7. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. All right. Get to work. Next, we're going to get an update from our police chief, Ms. Natalie Thompson. It's a bonus. It's only a little after 8 o'clock. Don't tell Bill. He's been stuck till 10.
And I do have a brief update for tonight. First of all, I wanted to remind everybody that actually it began last night at midnight, November 15th through March 15th. Parking on residential streets is prohibited from 2:30 a.m. and 6 a.m. It's in reference to ordinance section 82-72 for snow control. And I just quoted the ordinance beginning on November 15th and ending on March 15th of any year. No person shall park a motor vehicle between the hours of 2:30 a.m. and 6 a.m. on any city street. And also a reminder, those are City Hall tickets, so should anyone get a ticket, they may pay those at City Hall. Secondly, another reminder, somewhat of a seasonal reminder, the police department does conduct specific property checks. We have property check request forms available through our information center. Individuals may complete these and turn them in personally or email them to the information center. These requests may be completed for any period of time for a business or residence. It can be for a weekend, a week. We get many of them this time of year for a several-month period for those who may go south for the winter. You can include any, you can get as specific if you want on these forms, just to help us really better know what to look for if something is out of place or necessitate a phone call to you or someone that you've left in charge of the property. So we do have those available. We've had several of those completed this year, and basically those are passed on to all 4 of the squads night and day. They're very useful. We do our best to do property checks year-round, but these really help us, focus on, places, businesses, or residents that are vacant. So that is all I have.
That's all we got. That's good. That's a good update. Questions? Anybody?
I didn't know you did that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. No.
And the next meeting, I should have an update on our hiring process for our second full-time officer replacement, but I'll save that for the next
We've
meeting.
got some retirees coming in.
Yes, we
Yeah,
do.
a couple retiring. Okay. All right. No. Just thanks as always for keeping us safe. So
Yep, thanks.
thanks to all of you. All right. That will take us to the citizens in the audience will be heard on items not on the agenda. So if anybody would like to speak that has not had a chance to speak, come. But it's quiet tonight. Nobody. All right. City manager comments. Kate.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I do also want to thank the Law Officers Compensation Committee for for all their work, as well as Kim Wise for all of her work. I know that they were very diligent in looking for lots of information and getting, requesting information. So we pulled some strings, got the assessor, the GIS tech, and everybody else from the MML to help us out with whatever they needed to make their recommendations. So I very much commend their work, and hopefully they would like to work with us again next year when it is another even year. So I appreciate all your work. Secondly, I did want to also kind of reaffirm the community spotlight. If you listen to the radio at certain times in the morning, you'll hear either myself or Megan giving an update to the community. And this week, we have a lot of information going out to the community, just as a reminder about our Best Way changeover with Republic, making sure that people on Monday, November 29th, are putting out all of the Republic containers so that they get picked up, as well as their trash gets picked up, and that at some time during that week, I believe that Best Way will be dropping off containers. So just want to make sure that people are hearing that we have that transition coming up in the next week. Also, as a reminder, City Hall will be closed Thursday, November 25th and Friday, November 26th to observe the Thanksgiving holiday. We will be back open for regular hours on Monday, November 29th, the day you have to put your cans out. So on that. Also, the Public Works Department has been very diligent in getting the ice rink set up for, the ice rink. And typically, they put in several days of hours to get the ice layered because it takes some overnight ice layering. So we intend to have that open by Thanksgiving Day. And I do also want to clear up something that kind of came up at our last council meeting. We do have 2 items that are going to the Planning Commission. George, you're going to like the work that you'll be doing over there because we do have the food truck ordinance, and then, of course, we do have the medical marijuana adult use for safety compliance only. But there was a question that was brought up at our last meeting about whether or not adult use facilities can be brought back to the City Council and or the Planning Commission. There was an intimation that this must be brought back by a voter referendum. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but that's not correct. We have checked with the city charter. After the 1-year expiration, once that voter initiative had been passed, the city council has the imperative, or they could change the law if they show the ordinance that they so wish. But within that first year, once that voter initiative was passed by the voters, they could not change that. But we have checked with city charter, and the council has the ability to consider that change. So just wanted to clear that up. We didn't get that cleared up at our last meeting, so I did want to make that part of my comments tonight.
And, I mean, it was always my understanding, it was in our purview, and we were very clear on a few different occasions. I mean, we had opted out of all uses short of the testing, and that was at that time medical.
That's right.
It's I mean, obviously, it was good for a year. It would automatically sunset, and it comes back under the purview of this body.
That's right. It stays on the books, but the ability to change it is where we're at. The council, the charter is clear that after that 1 year, it can remain on the books until there is either another referendum from another source, or the council wishes to make that change. So the council is free to make any changes to that if they so wish, because we're, I think, several years out.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think we were very clear at that time of our intentions. I think we stated them several times. I know there was concern about dispensaries popping up, and we intentionally opted out for a variety of reasons, but.
And we remain opted out.
And we remain opted out. Exactly, thank you. So we're only considering one thing, which is an existing business's ability to expand.
There we go.
Thank you.
And those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Appreciate it. Any questions for Kate before we go on? Nothing. All right. Councilperson comments. Mr. Reeser, I'll start with you.
First, I would like to thank the people in this room that have suggested that we get a pay increase and the kind words, because sometimes it feels like up here we can't do anything right. So it's really nice to hear that. And I also want to take a second to thank my fellow council people and the mayor. A lot of you may not know that when we do develop the priorities for the year, each of us stand up and we put our numerical order in which we want the priorities. And I remember talking about diversity, and then we voted on it, and diversity came up number 4 out of 10 priorities. That amazed me, and that I was thrilled by it. And now to have this resolution, I'm just proud of our city and our councilmen and mayor that we think enough of that issue that we would have a resolution and have it number 4 in the priorities this year. I think it says a lot about our community. And that's it. Thanks.
Well stated. Thank you. And welcome back. George.
So I was thinking about, when we were talking about diversity, equity, inclusion, and our vision statement, and I thought we don't have a vision statement, but we do have a city emblem, and you see it all over the place, and it's our lighthouse. And I'm reminded, to me, a lighthouse is like something very similar to what we're talking about, because when a lighthouse is something that says to vessels that are out in Lake Michigan that, hey, here's a safe harbor that you can come to. Here is something where you can feel welcome. When you see that light, you know that there's hope there at that where that light is. There's some people there that can help you if you're in need. And I just think that I don't know where the lighthouse came from is the original emblem for the city, but I think it's very appropriate, and I think what we're talking about tonight lines up very well with that. That's it.
Well stated, thank you. Chris?
It's kind of quiet down the middle tonight, but
I like it.
I got to visit a couple towns recently, neighbors of ours. I went to St. Joe, I went to Holland and some other things. And I got to see a little bit of what they've been doing with Social District, and it was pretty impressive. It was very organized, clean, and surprisingly, the amount of traffic you would see in a downtown community, just people just having fun. So I think that's something maybe we should look more into as we go along. I did see it really helped out the restaurants too, because you have people waiting in line. At least they have something to do. It helps the shops. They saw that. But I was surprised. Even St. Joe was pretty happening in the fall. So, but that's it. And that's all I got.
Very good. Thank you. All right.
My comment, we won't see each other all until December, so happy Thanksgiving to all the city staff, all the city employees, everyone listening, and my fellow council members.
Very good. That's it. All right, thank you. All right, so yes, to our compensation committee, again, thank you. You are all wonderful people, and I appreciate your time more than you know, so thank you. Someone just won a drag race out there. I'd just like to thank, again, the Girl Scout troop for being here tonight. Lots of fun. Hard to think my little Cub Scouts are now in college, so, but good for them. That's good stuff, so. Our first meeting post-election, so again, just thanks for everybody for getting out and voting. Thanks to staff for pulling off an election. It's quite an amazing process. I'm amazed when I see it happen at this level. I can't imagine it at some of the larger precincts, but it's a pretty impressive process. And for our volunteers, all those folks that were involved, thank you for being down here and doing that. George, thanks, you reminded me. Former council member, Mr. Dan Mezak, may he rest in peace. Fantastic. His daughter, Carol, works here for the city now. He would frequently, one of his closing comments usually every night, he would let us know if there was a light out on the pier. There is a light out on the pier tonight, so you must have reminded me of that. So they're light out, and I just said that. I was laughing because Kate mentioned we were talking about lights on the pier earlier. I'm just going to leave it at that. So that one's for Dan. There was one other thing. I think that was it. Oh, next meeting, if we could just spend a few minutes and talk about, you can put it as an agenda item, but just discussing the process of goal setting and when it hits relative to fiscal year versus calendar year. Just to have a little discussion as a group. So that's all I've got for you. So on that note, again, happy Thanksgiving, yes, and thanks all for coming. It's only a little after 8, so yay. Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned. Have a good night, everybody.